Hello everyone! Welcome to another video of the Hellfire Gaze channel. Dragonflight Season 3 is on the horizon in less than a month. This will mark the end of Dragonflight Season 2, and with it we will lose access to a series of exclusive rewards that will become non-obtainable within the game. The best among them is the notorious PvP weapon illusion Shadow Flame. I thought that I would make a video to help you obtain this beautiful weapon illusion while it's still available. So let's get to it. Now, to start things off, the easiest way to get the enchant will be through solo shuffle, because you don't have to find partners to queue. Unless you have a very stable partner that you always queue with, then this is a different story. This guide will be primarily focused on solo shuffle, and we will start with the talents that one will be using to climb. There is only really one talent build that every single high rated demon hunter is using, and it's this one. I will put a link down in the description so you can directly copy it into your game. So class tree has no changes at all, no variations. Some people opt to leave this last part with the sigils out, but I think that's a mistake, so don't do it. And other than that, class tree and spectre are both completely locked in. This is like the optimal build to play. And the same goes for the two PvP talents, Chaotic Imprint and Glimpse. These are a must pick in every single match. So you only have a choice in the third PvP talent. Whenever you have an opponent with a magic CC for your healer, you just play reverse magic no matter what. Like if you have a mage with polymorph, trap, fear, solar beam, hodge, repentance, sleepwalk, any of these things, you just play reverse magic to dispel your healer from CC. Even one dispel in the game can win you or lose you the game. So if there is nothing to dispel from the opposing team, and you have someone in your team with a good incapacitate effect, for example a hunter who will trap the enemy healer, then you can take detainment, where you will be using cage on the off target, on the off DPS target, or maybe even the main target when they have a defensive cooldown up to CC them, while your hunter will be trapping the enemy healer, or maybe your mage will polymorph the enemy healer. So you don't need to use your cage on the enemy healer. That's where you pick detainment. And if this is not true either, so you don't need to use detainment on DPS, then you go with Blood Moon. Blood Moon is a little bit of extra purge and a little bit of self-healing. So it's the next best thing, let's say. So you have these three options. Most of the time reverse magic, sometimes. The next part is the stats. We will keep this one really short. So we know for the whole Dragonflight we've been playing versatility and mastery in PvP, and you can mix and match it any way you like it. Like you can have the PvP ring, maybe have two crafted rings, you can have the engineering bracers like I do, maybe the leather working ones, doesn't matter. The point is that you need around 25% versatility and 56% mastery. Something like that with your stats, and you can mix and match it. Some people go for more mastery to be more aggressive, some for more versatility and stuff, but make sure that you have at least 25% versatility and some mastery. And of course you can gem verse mastery, you can gem mastery verse, you can enchant versatility or mastery, it doesn't matter. You can mix and match it any way you like it to have more verse or more mastery, but let's say keep in mind at least 25% versatility and then mastery, maybe some more versa if you want to be more defensive, up to you. Now for embellishments, you play the Spore Clock and the PvP boots with the extra agility. These are like your best bet. And then you want to enchant both your weapons with Sophic Devotion. And what else? Some people like to play Leech on the braces and the back. Some people play Speed. Both are viable. Other than that, stats on the chest and Watcher's Loam on the boots. Make sure you get the Shadow Belt clasp for the extra stamina on the belt, and you play these two PvP trinkets. And that's it, pretty much, for the gear. Now a small note on the race that you will be choosing. Night Elf is strictly better than Blood Elf. Shadow Meld has a lot of uses to avoid a lot of stuff and will make your life easier, period. If you want to play Blood Elf, you can still do it. People have reached high rating with Blood Elves, but it will be hindering your ability to climb. By the way, if you like the content, consider dropping down a like and perhaps subscribing to the Hellfire Gaze channel for more Demon Hunter content. Now, let's talk a little bit about targeting. Targeting is a super important topic because it can really make or break your games. Now, the correct target to hit will be dependent on what your team has and what the opposing team has, and it's not always 100% sure, but there are some targets that are better to hit in general than others. And for Demon Hunters, that's hybrids most of the time, because we can dampen them with a lot of sustained damage and mortal strike that reduces their heals and eventually kill them. So the best targets would be Moonkins and Ferals, which we can stop the clones of, and then Elemental Summons or Enhancement Summons, Shadow Priest and Red Tree Paladins are all great targets for Demon Hunter. Moreover, we can do really good damage to Death Knights and Hunters. Now, if none of the above is present in the opposing team, the second best thing, let's say, to hit would be Mages, Locks, Evokers and other Havoc Demon Hunters. Now, these classes do not rely so much on self-healing, and they rely a lot on mobility and absorbing and CC, so they can deal with you a little bit better than the previous ones. And finally, the worst things to hit are Warriors, Windwalkers and Rogues. Not only these classes are more durable against our attacks, but they can really chop us into pieces. So most of the time you want to kite them a little bit. You don't want to be in melee range trading with Warriors or Windwalkers. You will lose this trade most of the time. You want to go in with Demon form, trade and then run away and throw glaives from distance and stuff. So these are not good targets for a Demon Hunter. Other than that, when you want to hit healers, that's sometimes possible, but it's not highly advisable in most cases. The weakest ones, I would say, are Resto Druid, when you want to swap to make them lose mana with swapping HOTS around, the Holy Paladins and the Resto Shamans. Those are the healers that I would be swapping to, but generally speaking, I don't go for healers in solo shuffle most of the time. Moving on, I have some general tips that are extremely useful to apply in most, if not all, solo shuffle games as a Havoc. So the first advice is do not push too much into the enemy team and behind pillars and stuff. This is a good advice for every melee, but specifically for Havoc, you are extremely reliant on your healer. You don't have some sort of immunity like Cloak of Shadows or Anti-Magic Cell where you can be out of line for a few seconds and then immune all CC and close out the game yourself. Most of the time, if you go behind pillars, you are either gonna die or you might get CC'd and sit a full Bass Clone or a full Fear or something like that and be out of the game completely. So you will try to push to make things better, but you will actively make things worse for you. So I would not recommend pushing alone behind pillars. You generally stick with your team and hit what's close. Maybe push a little bit, but you need to be very careful with that. Other than that, I would say use defensives aggressively. Havocs, we do not have any defensives that we can use within stance, so we can ice block last minute or dispersion or anything like that. We need to use our cooldowns early. We need to use Blur when we're high HP, not when you're 100%, because the enemy has not committed anything on you and they can just swap target and continue. But when you're like 50%, 60%, you can Blur. Just go for it. Don't wait for it. Don't hold it for the next game. Just use it. Same thing with Darkness. I've lost so many games by just not using Darkness in time. Like one of my teammates is next to me. I'm waiting for them to use Turtle, Dispersion, whatever. Don't wait for it. It's solo shuffle. You play on your own. You don't expect your teammate to ice block. Just use Darkness. Use it and you will stop losing some games that you shouldn't. More than that, it's important to dodge crowd control where you can. So there are 2-3 tools that you have in your disposal. The first one is Glimpse, of course. When you're cycloned, you glimpse, pop, and then you're immune to the cyclone and you keep going. So it's often the case that you try to hit a Moonkin and he is cloning you over and over again, and you just stop it over and over again with Glimpse. You can melt. That's why Nightwolf is so important. It adds one more tool to your toolkit to avoid CC. And other than that, you always have Fell Rush. So let's say this is a Moonkin and I'm fighting him. Okay, he's right here. We're fighting. La la la, I use Kick. I use Stun. I've stopped all clones. Then maybe he tries to clone me again. I Glimpse and I'm immune. And now it's cloning again. We're like right here. He's cloning again and I Fell Rush out of line of sight. This is another tool you have to avoid CC. And as the Demon Hunter, one of the most important things will be to avoid CC. and you will not go behind pillars to get CC'd on your own. You will not allow the enemies to CC you by using all these tools, and you use them proactively to stop CC from happening. Other than that, use also reverse magic very aggressively. Like you see your healer being in a magic CC, you need to rush there and reverse magic immediately. Rush and reverse. Don't wait for it. Sometimes you can use glimpse, which is really good. Like when they CC your healer and you know you're gonna get cross CC'd, you glimpse and you glide. So you keep your glimpse, and when you're next to them, you reverse. So this will give you that one extra second to avoid the cross CC and land the reverse magic. So these are the more general tips that you can use, and we will now move on with a kind of scripted opener that you can do. PvP is not scripted, but there are some guidelines you can follow to open in every solo shuffle that will generate massive pressure. So for this opener, we will demonstrate this on mobs, and then we will show a clip from an actual arena game. So this guy, Invoke, let's suppose it's our kill target, we mark him with Skull, and this guy over here is a healer. Okay, so we want to do damage on Invoke and we want to CC the healer. So we will start like we're watching into the arena. Okay, so we will Sigil of Flame at our feet, we will use Immolation Aura, we will throw Glaive twice, maybe just once or maybe twice, you'll see. You have to Fell Blade, you stun, I-beam into Essence Break, Death Sweep, maybe one or two annihilations, then you will meta, Death Sweep, and use another I-beam, then you will CC the healer into a hunt, and once the fear is over, maybe you can Fell Rush over and stun him for 5 seconds, because she will be alone, so she will be stunned for 5 seconds, and this will be the opener. This will be the opener. If you can pull off this opener again and again, you will generate massive pressure at the beginning of the game, and this will help you win so many games. Now, this was what the opener looks in theory, and in practice you will not be able to pull it off as you want, because you will be CC'd by the opposing team. You might want to trinket early, especially the first stun of the game. You can trinket it and keep pushing. So now here we want to go to the Shadow Priest. So you see I line here, I do Sigil of Flame, I do Immolation Aura, and then I throw Glaive, and I Fell Blade, I stun him because I'm rooted here, and I can I-beam, kill the root and hit him at the same time. Essence Break, Death Sweep, do some damage, do meta, and here I get a demon, so I decide to throw Glaive it, and then we CC into the hunt. I did not use the second I-beam earlier, I should have used it earlier. Okay, now here you see we get Cocoon, the healer is cloned, I swap to Elemental a little bit, the healer goes away, and now that he's away I will Fell Rush and stun him while he's alone. My healer and my DPS have been CCing the enemy healer, so yeah, this is the opener, and this will generate a lot of pressure at the beginning of the game. If you are still here, thanks a lot for watching to the end. I hope that this video will help you get one step closer to acquiring this beautiful PvP enchant while you still can. If you like the content, consider dropping a like and perhaps subscribing to the Felfire Gaze channel for more Demon Hunter content. See you in the next one.